Previously on Ruthless, we mentally prepared for our suffering to come, defeated Mervale, picked up our first Orb of Alchemy, and slowly grinded down the Vaal Oversoul before making our way into the city of Sane. But anyway, now's the start of the next chapter. After our slugfest with the Vaal Oversoul, I thought that our damage was certainly lacking, so I decided to check the vendor to see if there's any nice weapons available for a crafting base. We used one of our limited whetstones to make it the maximum 20% quality and get our prayer book out and prayed to the almighty being. May the gods smile upon us and our sword on this fine day. We did the true Path of Exile crafting technique and hovered our alchemy over our base and clenched our eyes as tightly as we possibly could, giving it a gentle rub over the item before we committed the alchemy. Luckily, it's actually pretty good and roughly doubles our tooltip DPS on our Reeve, which should help a lot. We made our way with our fancy new blade over to the crematorium, where we actually got our first unique draw. It's actually decent for Ruthless, as SRS is actually the #1 meta build at the moment, and I think it's a strong unique for leveling with SRS. But I haven't played SRS since about Legacy League, I think, so I don't exactly remember. We continued our search and found an extra crispy Tolman Deluxe, with a side of piety. We quickly fought off piety and Agoons and accepted our Poacher's Mark reward from Maramoa after some careful consideration. We picked up the sewer keys from Clarissa and headed on over into the sewers. Oh, sorry, don't know how that got here. Anyway, we quickly made our way through the sewers, picking up the platinum busts along the way, except one that we forgot to pick up, and progressed through to the battlefront, where we pick up the waypoint, quickly pick up the quest item, and these guys just kind of phase out of this plane of existence. Just straight exited the premises, so fair enough, hope they're living their best life. Also, here's a quick damage showcase. I feel like soon we're going to potentially hit a bit of a wall, and we might actually have to do some grinding for better gear or XP while leveling. Potentially we should pick up an actual support gem from the library, but we'll see. We found our way over into the docks, where we picked up the quest item we needed and continued to the Solaris Temple. We make our way through the Solaris Temple quickly and meet up with Diala.
Hey bitch, what's up bitch? Suck my dick, bitch.
Who gives us our first amulet of Ruthless, so we're excited to see what bonus this gives us. It is absolutely terrible.
What do you think?
Whoa, very nice. Look at that.
Let's see Paul Allen's card. Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my god.
At least the dexterity will let us equip some of the items we'll want to use and will help with gems in the short term, or perhaps even in the long term if amulets are super rare and ruthless. We quickly made our way into the sewers and picked up the final platinum bust and headed back to town, handing in the busts for our skill point and our regret points, when carefully considering what gem to take. We ended up picking Bladestorm just to try it out. I don't think we'll actually end up using it, but we might as well try it. We quickly dealt with Lil Ravesius and headed over to the Lunaris Temple. We encountered our favourite Path of Exile enemies for no particular reason. I wonder if I can even show these on YouTube zoomed in. Oh well. We of course then moved on to our first real fight with Piety. She honestly felt like she died relatively fast and effortlessly, aside from avoiding her when she had the blue empowerment with the blow. We also got our first Chaos Drop from Piety, which is pretty nice. Probably won't be super useful, but we'll see what that ends up getting used on. After defeating Piety, we headed over to the Imperial Gardens, where we met up with Siosa.
I have the best gems in the country. Believe me, I only get the best gems.
We went and picked up the golden pages for Siosa, handed it in and realized that he actually only gives skill gems, not support gems.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Anyway, quickly moving on from that depressing revelation, we start making our way up the Scepter of God on our march against Dominus. Floor after floor, we got closer to our destination, only picking up some XP and low-value currency items such as scrolls on the way. When we finally made our way to Dominus, we first dealt with his goons. This took a bit of kiting with these guys specifically. We let the better Reaver win and took Dominus out. I was going to say quickly, but it was in fact not quickly. We headed over into the aqueduct and have a nice surprise visit from your mother. I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but we didn't have much time to stay and catch up as we headed into town. I feel like we desperately needed attack speed to make the build feel less clunky to play, so I'm trying to find some way to fit that in at the moment. Using a shield over dual wielding may be a big mistake, as our damage may just be too low without support gems and also lacking the extra dual wielding damage bonuses we'd get from the skill tree, but we'll see as we go further. For now the build doesn't feel strong, but it's not massively struggling. Anyway, we made our way through the dried lake and got the seal to progress into the mine, and as we were progressing I felt our damage was really lacking, so I tried a few things. The first was trying to quickly craft a better sword, but we don't have much currency and that didn't turn out so well for us. It's a decent elemental sword which did improve our tooltip DPS, but may have lowered our actual DPS due to Impale. I remembered that we actually haven't ascended yet, so we headed over to the labyrinth to solve that. I thought potentially we could actually get some nice loot from perhaps the silver chests in the labyrinth, but we quickly realised that they are very disappointing. While mindlessly chipping down Izara's health, we consider our ascendancy options. My first thought was of course the decision between Slayer and Champion. I think Slayer might be better as a more generic option, but I want to go Impale and I'd like to invest in Fortification, so I think Champion will be the better option. I also thought that our first Ascension would be the Impale one, but currently our Impale chance is so low I don't think it's worth the investment, so I decided to go for the Adrenaline, which might be a big mistake, but so far I don't regret it at all. I still intend to pick up the Impale, but probably for the second Ascension. We moved into the Crystal Veins and then into Karim's Realm, where we quickly and smoothly dealt with Karim before moving ahead to Duresa's realm. Both realms were relatively uneventful and went smoothly. But as we were moving through the belly of the beast, we were blessed by the All-Father himself. Our very first actually usable support gem. It's not great, but honestly it sounds better in Ruthless than in normal PoE, as the movement speed gets extra useful with the no movement skill penalty. We're currently unable to use it as we don't have the sockets for it, but that shouldn't take too long to solve. So, with a small smug grin on our face, we continue the march to Malachai's goons. We found these pretty insane gloves, but they're on an intelligence base, so I'm not sure if we can utilize them too well. We lose a bit of damage, but they should give a nice defensive boost to us for now, so we equip them. We then proceed to get hit on by Piety as we beat the absolute life out of her.
I knew I could rely on you.
After, we quickly head and kill Doedry Dark Tongue.
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy, that's a thick-ass boy! Damn!
Chevron, and then Malagara. We hand over the organs to Piety and Malachai stabs her.
Rest in peace, bitch. Respectfully.
And we engage in single combat with Malachi.
We understand what it means to be Nightmare.
Except it's not really a 1 versus 1, because Malachi is a dirty cheater and kept summoning in the boys. We kept bobbing and weaving, twisting and turning, hitting and cutting, dodging Malachai's hentai dreams and slowly chipped his health down, dodging the constant stream of trash he threw at us. Eventually, we popped all 3 of his hearts and forced him to explode. Implode? I don't know, one of them. We swiftly made our way back to town and picked up our rewards. After reaching town, we attempted to craft some boots as we got a nice 3 green socket link in this base, so we slammed an alchemy orb onto it and hoped for the best. They're pretty terrible, but at least we got the 15% movement speed, which should be nice for going through the campaign, and also defensively whilst we're in fights. And decided that we'd invest a whetstone and maybe an alchemy and see if we can get anything good. And goddamn, did we get blessed today with this sword. It basically doubled our DPS from the weapon, and now of course we were able to actually use our onslaught support because of our fancy new boots. I'm not sure whether this series is going to continue in the Forbidden Sanctum as it's getting towards the end of the league. However, I will most likely be doing some videos in this style on the Diablo 4 Early Access, so if you'd be interested in that, maybe you'd like to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.